enter your name and the name of your center so that we can make sure you get CEUs for this training.
So I've got, you all can see the slide up on the screen, yeah?
Yes.
What can you guys see? I've got a participant panel also pulled up. Does that show up for you guys? Ha, yes, okay, good, good. That way I can keep an eye on who's popping in and when we can get started.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so it looks like we've got the Hive Education representing Bumblebee down in Sunland Park. We've got Trisha from Deming. We've got Kim and Barbara from up in Farmington. Am I seeing any other centers on here? I think we're missing 3 others.
Yeah, it looks like we are, Corey. Well, everyone, we are recording this as well. So this will, the recording will go out along with the presentation after the training is over for review.
So while we're waiting, how's everybody doing today? If you're feeling up to it, go ahead and pop like a smiley face or a frowny face or maybe a face with like just a line in the chat just to see, you know, how's everybody doing? I'll start off. I think I'm feeling pretty good. It's nice to be here with everybody. Patience gives us a little smiley face. Yay. Rita, I see your smiley face too.
Tomorrow's my birthday and my sister is coming into town tonight. We're going to go to Colorado and surprise my mom. She doesn't know my sister's coming and we're going to go celebrate my birthday and her birthday tomorrow. So I'm really excited to see my sister and to see both of them together.
That's so sweet, Rita. I hope you guys drive safely on your way up there and have a great time.
Thank you. Yeah, it's supposed to snow overnight, so we want to get there tonight so we don't have to white knuckle it up there tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Victoria. I have like 1/2 of a drop of Irish blood, even though I'm born on St. Patrick's Day. So I've never really celebrated it.
All right, well, what do y'all say that we get started? And we also have the recording available to everybody. So if someone is a little bit late, they can always check out the recording later. I want to make sure we honor everyone's time, get started on time, then we can end on time. So hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Corey Vandergeest. I'm with the Farm to Preschool team at the Department of Health. And today I'm going to be leading our training on the workbook and the action planner. If you haven't heard this yet, please sign in the chat with your name and the name of your organization. We're going to be taking attendance from now on using this method. So really make sure you get your name, organization name in the chat. Otherwise, we won't be able to give you guys CEUs. And as we're going through this training, feel free to also pop any questions in the chat, or if you're feeling brave, you can come off mic and feel free to interrupt me or any of the other speakers. We're happy to just engage in conversation as we go along. So here we go. All right, so I want to start off by saying that this event is funded in part by the USDA Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, otherwise known as SNAP. And this institution is an equal opportunity provider. And we've got a couple things on our agenda today. So the first thing is we're going to have a reimbursement updates. We've got some exciting news for you all. Then we're going to be introducing our HKHP and HKHC coordinators. And if you're like, whoa, that's a bunch of letters and I don't know what they mean, that's okay. We'll cover that. And then we're going to talk about the workbook and action planner, which is really the heart of this training. So I think Pam will be giving us our reimbursement update. Pam, are you on the line?
I don't see her yet, Corey.
Okay, well, I'll give her update and then she can join on a little bit later. If she has some more details to share, then she definitely can. But the good news is that we are finally able to reimburse you all for your farm to preschool purchases. So what that means is that you can start spending. Yay! Thank you, Rita, for the applause. I know we've been waiting a really long time. Trust me, we are just as excited and anxious as you are. So that's really great news. If y'all need a refresher on like, okay, how does that reimbursement process work? We've got some trainings from a couple weeks ago that y'all can check out, slides, some recordings. And then of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Pam or anyone else on our team. So yay, if you've got questions about that, stick it in the chat. Awesome. So the next part is we're going to be introducing our coordinators, and these lovely folks you can see in this beautiful picture here from the Zuni Pueblo, and these folks are going to be your go-to for personalized support in your area. Okay, so I know that farm to preschool is really exciting. You all are doing all 4 of our strategies. And if you haven't done a garden or a local procurement before, it can feel a little bit intimidating, but don't worry, these folks are here to hold your hand every step of the way. So I'm going to pass it off to Rita, and Rita's going to talk a little bit about who these coordinators are and how they're going to be helping you.
Thank you, Corey. So Healthy Kids, Healthy Preschool coordinators, you may already be familiar with Alberto Zavala, who has worked with a bunch of you on establishing preschool wellness policies, doing the Healthy Kids, Healthy Preschool Challenge to increase physical activity to 120 minutes a day and limit screen time to 30 minutes or less per week. The Family 5210 Challenge that helps families adopt healthy lifestyle behaviors at home. And then our Healthy Kids, Healthy Community coordinators are in 9 counties and 2 tribal communities. And they are a person like Alberto who work in those communities to increase opportunities for healthy eating and physical activity. And primarily their work has been in the school, elementary school setting, in the larger community food system. Think of like community gardens and farmers markets and healthy options in grocery stores or convenience stores. And then working on opportunities for walking and biking around the community. That's their primary role. But this year, with the advent of our pilot programs and the funding, we have asked our coordinators in some of the pilot communities to support Healthy Kids, Healthy Preschool, and Farm to Preschool. So of our pilot sites, there's an overlap of 4 in Curry County, in Clovis, in San Juan County, in Socorro County, and in Chaves County. So Dexter, Future Generations, Barbara Tedrow, your center, and in the Socorro Head Start. So backing up, Corey, to the strategies. So if you can go back a slide.
Oops, sorry.
Thank you.
There we go.
Healthy Kids, Healthy Preschool had 3 strategies before we applied for and got the Farm to Preschool funding. And so it's preschool wellness policies. Many of you have a preschool wellness policy. If you don't, Alberto or one of our team can help you work on one. The Healthy Kids, Healthy Preschool Challenge that takes place every fall. The Family 5210 Challenge that takes place beginning in May. And then finally this year, Farm to Preschool. So our program, which is called the Obesity, Nutrition, and Physical Activity Program, applied for funding through a grant and were awarded it. And we partnered with Pam Mitchell in the Student Nutrition Bureau at the Early Childhood Education and Care Department and worked with her and the rest of my team to develop a comprehensive farm to preschool program. And we're working with each of you to pilot comprehensive farm to preschool. And so Healthy Kids, Healthy Preschool works on all strategies, but in this training, you're going to be learning more about what it takes to implement all 4 activities of farm to preschool. So we cover every county in New Mexico, but with you and the pilot programs, it'll just be in the pilot programs listed on the map. So next slide, back to the next slide. Thank you. So in Healthy Kids, Healthy Communities, we work on expanding opportunities for healthy eating and physical activity for children and adults where they live, learn, play, work, eat, and shop. My program is in 9 counties: Chaves, Colfax, Curry, Hidalgo, Grant, Guadalupe, Roosevelt, San Juan, and Socorro, and then the San Ildefonso Pueblo and the Zuni Pueblo. You can see on the key in the upper right-hand corner of the slides that the pilot sites are indicated by a red star. So we have pilot sites in San Juan County in Farmington, in Clovis in Curry County, in Dexter in Chaves County, in Socorro County, and in Deming and Sunland Park. So Deming in Luna County and Sunland Park in Doña Ana County. Next slide, please. So the support you're going to get from our Healthy Kids, Healthy Community coordinators and Healthy Kids, Healthy Preschool coordinators will be to come to you in person to provide support. And that can be for helping plan gardens or supporting a family engagement event or a harvest event. Help you by talking to you once a month for monthly calls and taking notes so you don't have to, so you can report on your progress. And that will help with the successes and challenges form that Corey will show everyone later. So just going through and interviewing you about how you're doing with your farm to preschool activities, help take pictures and testimonials, and then helping you remember to complete the tracking logs in the action planner. So there's support so you don't have to remember to do everything. And that we can kind of tell the story of your farm to preschool journey as time goes on. So next slide, please. So we want you to meet everybody. So we know our pilot programs are on the call right now, and we want you to know who will be supporting you. So for Alberto Zavala, so Alberto, if you could please, you've got your video on, thank you. Alberto Zavala will be supporting Bumblebee Learning Center, Family Resource Center Head Start. So Alberto, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I think we have been working together with Bumblebee and also the research center in Deming. But you know, my name is Alberto Zavala. I'm the program coordinator for Healthy Kids, Healthy Preschool in southern New Mexico.
Thank you, Alberto. So for Dexter Head Start, we have Paula Camp and Becky Joyce. So Paula and Becky, if you can introduce yourself, and also Carrie Makiha or Mr. Espinoza, if you're on the call, please introduce yourselves as well so you can learn who each other is and what each other looks like.
I'm Paula Camp. And Becky Joyce, and we're Healthy Kids, Chaves County. And we drove by the other day to check it out where it is. It's behind the school, and we kind of scoped out where we were going to need to be. And so we look forward to meeting you. Yes, we do.
Thank you very much, Paula and Becky. And is there a representative from the Dexter Head Start on the call? And if there is, if I could ask you to please introduce yourself.
Rita, I'm not seeing Carrie on the line, but hopefully she'll join later. And when she does, we can introduce her to Paula and Becky.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Marie. Future generations, Mitch Gray, if you can introduce yourself to the team at Future Generations. You already know them, but again.
Mitch, you're on mute.
Okay, you can see me though?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm Mitch Gray and I am the Healthy Kids Coordinator for Curry and Quay counties. Great to see you.
Thank you very much, Mitch. And do we have a representative from Future Generations on the call today?
Oops.
Oh, there's Ashley.
Hello. I'm Ashley and I'm the director at Future Generations. And we've actually worked with Mitch in the past.
Yeah, excellent. It's so nice that you guys get to connect together again. So good. Welcome, Ashley. Nice seeing you.
Nice meeting you.
A Gold Star Academy, Patience Williams. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Patience Williams. I'm the Healthy Kids, Healthy Communities Program Coordinator here, and I work under San Juan County Partnership. And I know that, Barb, I've met you at the Community Health Improvement meetings before the CHIC meetings, and I really look forward to this.
So do I. I think I'm off mute, correct?
Yeah.
We do. It's exciting to hear about all this from all the different avenues when you're ELAC and CHIC and, all this stuff. So we are looking excited. Kim is here with me. So, it's exciting.
Yeah, finally, we're getting it off the ground. Thank you, everybody, for being so patient while we establish the infrastructure to administer the funding and future funding through the Early Childhood Education and Care Department. So we're excited to get started. So the Midwest NMCAP Head Start, which is the Socorro County Head Start. I'm not sure Olivia is on the call today, but James, or I think I saw Carlos. Carlos, can you introduce yourself to everyone?
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I'm Carlos Benavides from Socorro County. We're working with the Head Start program. We're starting we're really starting the program right now. And yeah, that'll be all from you. Hello.
Hi, thank you, Carlos. Glad you're on the call.
Yep.
And then Raymond Navajo Head Start. Elena, you want to introduce yourself? And
Yeah, hi everybody. I saw that Cynthia and Priscilla are here from Raymond Navajo. I'm Elena Paisano. I am working with Rita's team on Farm to Preschool, and I'm really passionate about food sovereignty and trying to figure out, how these programs can impact our Native communities. So I'm excited to work with y'all again. I've worked with Randy in the past, but I'll be here to help support you at least. And you'll see that there's a dash there, Farm to Preschool core team. That's because I'm going to be leaving for maternity leave later this summer. So one of my colleagues will step in at that time. So I'm glad you guys are here today.
And then Priscilla, can you and your team introduce yourselves?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Priscilla Peshlokai. I'm the Family and Community Engagement Coordinator with Raymond Navajo Head Start, and looking forward to working with Elena.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Hi there. This is Cynthia Nails. I'm the director of the Raymond Navajo Head Start program and also the Pine Hill Early Intervention program here in Pine Hill. Good to meet Elena. Looking forward to working together.
Thank you very much.
We had a comment in the chat here about the new director.
So they'll be sharing contact information between all of you so you can get connected together and start working together on the things that Corey's going to talk about in just a little bit. So Corey, do you want to advance to the next slide?
Hey, I think we forgot to give some airtime for Bumblebee and Family Resource Center down in Deming.
I did. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Please, Bumblebee.
Hi, my name is Bernice Rodriguez, and I'm the site director for Bumblebee Sunland Park. And we've actually been working with Alberto Zavala for a few years now with the Healthy Kids, Healthy Preschool. So we're really excited just to get this going as well.
Nice to see you, Bernice. And how about the Family Resource Center Head Start? It's hard
Hello.
to
I'm Trisha Gutierrez. I'm the center manager here at the Family Resource Center. And we're excited. Teacher Alexandra is not here today, but she will be attending all of our other meetings. But thank you so much for including us.
Happy to have you on board. Thank you.
All right. Thanks everybody for introducing yourselves. We're going to have a breakout session later on where you'll be paired with your coordinators. So you'll have more time to build that relationship. But now let's jump into the workbook and the action planner. And again, if you guys have any questions along the way, feel free to interrupt or stick your question in the chat. So this workbook and action planner, we talked a little bit about probably back in November. And we're really excited about this resource, and we hope that you guys will be too. This is going to be your one-stop shop for Farm to Preschool. Right? We're really hoping that this can be kind of like an overarching structure or like a home for all things related to Farm to Preschool in your office and at your center. This workbook is going to support you with, identifying your goals for Farm to Preschool. That's going to mean for local foods, for nutrition education, gardens, and family and community engagement. And then once you've got those goals, you need to develop a plan, right, to make those goals a reality. And so this workbook will help you do that. And then lastly, it's going to help with tracking your activities. And to me, these things are so important, not just for Farm to Preschool, but outside of Farm to Preschool. I know all of you probably thinking about your focus score, your quality rating improvement score. And I'm sure that, adding in that garden and that extracurricular activity outside can really help improve the quality of the great work that you guys are already doing. It's also really awesome for promoting your preschool to new families. And, there are going to be more funding opportunities on the way. And if you can say, we've done this many nutrition education activities that include New Mexico grown, or we served this many pounds of New Mexico grown food, that's going to look really impressive and can help funnel more money your way. So like I said, we're really, really excited about this workbook, and we have two versions of this workbook available to you all. One of them is on Google Drive, so it's electronic. If you're a kind of person who's like, I hate paper, let me just do it on my computer, we've got that version. If you're a person who really thinks better, writing things down and structuring kind of out on paper, that's cool too. We've got a physical binder that was sent to you in the last week or so in the mail. And I'm really hoping that you all were able to receive it. Could you guys go into the chat right now and just let me know if you've received your Farm to Preschool workbook in the mail yet? Just go ahead and, type in yes or no in the chat. Yay, Kim got hers. Yay, Ashley, Bernice, woohoo. Oh, FYI, Carlos, this is only for the preschools. So coordinators, you guys haven't had a copy of this. If you want a hard copy, let's talk offline. But let's see, Carrie's not on the call. Priscilla and Cynthia, have you all received your mailed copy of the workbook? Or Trisha, do you know? Yay, Priscilla. Yay, Trisha. Okay, great. It sounds like everybody got theirs. Awesome. Okay, well, feel free to kind of peruse that as we go along today. I'm going to be going through the electronic version since that's a little bit easier to share over Zoom. But the electronic version and the paper version are exactly the same. So learning about one today will help you learn about the other one. All right, so there are some really key tools and documents in our workbook that I want to point out. The first one is going to be our action planner. We're going to be talking a lot more about that today. Another tool is the expense tracker, which you all have seen before. We haven't made any changes, so it's just a copy of what you've already received. We've got some really awesome Farm to Preschool one-pagers, which we'll talk about shopping book lists, the successes and challenges form, which you all are not required to fill out. That's going to be your coordinator's responsibility. There's just a copy there for your reference. And then one really important piece is that, you know, as you're going through, we'd love for you guys to take photos and collect testimonials about your farm to preschool activities, right? We really need those to tell the story of your success and advocate for more funding and support. And so when you're going through and collecting photos and testimonials, if you have, you know, hard copies, you can go ahead and stick that in your binder. If you've got electronic copies, you can really quickly upload it to your Google Drive. If you have lesson plans that you really love, that the kids really loved and you want to save, stick that in your workbook. If you guys have your workbook on you, you can flip to the back page or to the back section, and there's a little folder in there with a couple of pockets. So anything that is related to farm to preschool that you want to save, stick in this workbook. Like really, this is your one-stop shop. I don't, you know, I'm the kind of person where I can get things really disorganized. And if my room or my office is disorganized and my brain is disorganized, but this is a good way to just keep everything in one place, neatly organized and ready to go. So we're going to dive right in and we're going to jump onto that Google Drive. You all have been sent this link before. If you don't have it, no worries. We'll send it again after this training so you can see the electronic version on Google Drive. Okay. So I've clicked on that link. You guys can do exactly the same thing. It'll bring you right to our Farm to Preschool pilot program Google Drive. And you can see on my screen, is this big enough? Rita, Alina, how does this look? Should I make it a little bit bigger? A little bit bigger? Okay.
Yeah, just a little. I mean, it's seeable, but it's pretty small. There we go.
All right. Awesome. Okay, so you can see we've got a bunch of folders here. We've got the first one for the pilot program workbook. We're gonna, you know, go through that in detail. We've got a folder for the trainings. So if you want to look back at that reimbursement training, this is where you find that training. If you want to upload photos to your Google Drive folder, we've got one for each one of you. And then also down here is this Farm to Preschool book list. We'll open that in a second. But let's dive into the workbook. And when you open the workbook, it's going to be set up in the same way that your binder is, your physical binder. The first thing is there's going to be a table of contents. So let's go ahead and open that. And you can tell from this long table of contents that this workbook is chock full of resources for you all. And it's split up into sections. So each kind of bolded section here corresponds to one tab or one divider in your physical binder. In the general information section, we've got things like reporting requirements, reimbursement instructions, that farm to preschool shopping list, the expense tracker. I'm not going to go through all of these in detail since we've covered a lot of them already. We've got a section for the action planner. And you can see in the action planner, we've got some reporting tools embedded in them. One of these we've talked about already, the nutrition education form, and we'll talk about these other 3 logs here in a little bit. We've got a section where you guys can print out and insert the trainings in the training section, and there's a training notes template if you want to use that. We've got a section for meetings. Here it says technical assistance notes. That's the same thing as your successes and challenges form, which you do not have to submit. Okay, that's just for your reference only. And then we've got a really great resources section, right? That's kind of the bulk of the workbook here. And it's split out by each one of our strategies: New Mexico grown food, gardens, nutrition education, family and community engagement, and then a spot for you to stick your photos and testimonials. So I'm not going to go through every single one of these because we definitely don't have time, and y'all would be bored to death. So I really suggest that y'all take some time, really sit with that, that binder or go through this Google Drive and kind of peruse and see what we have available, because our whole team came together and put in some real thought and effort into figuring out, like, what are the best resources to support you all? What are the crucial details that you need without throwing everything all at you? So take some time, this week or next week with that workbook and just kind of, do a little tour, a little self tour. We're really going to focus on the action planner today. So I'm going to jump in right there. action planner. All right, so this action planner, I'm really hoping will help you guys think through all of the pieces of farm to preschool right from the very start, right? So this first section is about deciding your priorities. You know, you have to do all 4 strategies. That's kind of the whole deal with comprehensive farm to preschool in this pilot program. But, you know, it's probably likely that one of these just really makes your heart sing. Maybe you really love gardens and you're so excited to share gardening with your kiddos, or maybe you're really passionate about healthy, fresh, local food from the farmer in your county. So you're going to think, you know, what are my priorities? What really, you know, sings to me? And I identify that here. Then you're going to go through and pick your team, because you cannot do this work alone. You need to have a core group of folks, one person who's going to be a leader, one person who's going to be doing a lot of local foods thinking for you, you know, connecting with farmers, planning menus. You need a person who's going to be reaching out to your families and your community members. Of course, you have your teachers, your educators who are going to be doing the nutrition education pieces. And then you want to have a garden coordinator, right? So that's the next step, assembling your team. After that, it's time to think about goals. We've got a page like this for each one of our farm to preschool strategies. So here's New Mexico Grown, and it has you identify an attainable goal. So a goal that you know that you can reach. And then one really important part about goals is to have some sort of deadline, right? To keep you accountable. Otherwise, it's going to be like those New Year's resolutions where you're like, yeah, I'm going to go to the gym, but you're like, I don't know when I'm going to start doing that. At least that's the case for me. So make sure you have a deadline in here. Once you've got an attainable goal in mind, it's really important to have a plan of action, you know, a series of small steps that can help you reach that goal. And those small steps should list who is going to do what and by when. Again, to hold yourself accountable, to hold your team accountable. And let's say you've never done, you know, local procurement before. You've never purchased from a farmer in your neighborhood or in your county. And you're like, I really don't know how to fill this out. You know, it seems straightforward enough, but I just don't have the ideas. The first thing that you can do is reach out to your coordinator, those folks that we just introduced earlier in the call, because they are folks who have helped schools purchase local. They have helped schools and senior centers put together gardens. So they have that lived experience of, okay, this is what you have to do, and then this is what you have to do, and then this is what you have to do. Let's say you've set up a meeting with them and you want to start working on it, but like your meeting's a week away. We've got examples for you. So if you scroll down, we've got an example goal and plan of action for New Mexico Grown listed here. You guys are more than welcome to steal ideas. You know, don't recreate the wheel. Feel free to copy and tailor as much as you need to. So we've got one of these for each one of our strategies. Right? So here's one for edible gardens. You create a goal, you create a plan of action. If you need help, you reach out to your coordinators. And we've got examples in the back. Now with some of these strategies, you know, you need to do a little bit more thinking, have a little bit more forethought, and edible gardens is one of those things, you know. And so in this action planner, we've got a couple extra questions to support you when you're planning. So for example, you know, like what kind of garden do you want to do? Do you have space and good soil for an in-ground garden? Do you want to go big and build a greenhouse? Maybe you're thinking more about like traditional indigenous gardening. You can think about waffle gardens. You've got to think about the location of the garden and what kind of components it has. You know, is it near can the hose reach the location of the garden? That's important. Does it get sunlight? So there are those kinds of follow-up questions to help guide your thinking. Some other kinds of questions are, you know, what kind of plants are you going to be putting into your garden? You can do fruits, vegetables, herbs. You can also do pollinator plants like flowers to make sure we're bringing in those wonderful bees and other pollinators to our gardens. We've got a question here like, will you plant seeds or will you plant starts? You know, are you going to plant from seeds or are you going to go to the store? You're going to buy like little tomato plants? And when will you plant them? So, you know, I'm really new to gardening. I wouldn't know when I need to start tomatoes, but you can reach out to your coordinator for that. Also in our resource section of this workbook, there is a table that shows, for all the fruits and vegetables that you can grow in New Mexico, when is the best time to start planting them, and whether you should plant seeds or whether you should plant starts. Whew, all right. So I want to point out this page here in the next couple of pages and flag them as really important, because these logs we are going to be collecting at the end of the grant year. So that's going to be in October, but you have to make sure you're filling it out along the way, right? Because if we ask for it and you're like, oh shoot, I forgot to fill out that log, and you have to remember everything that you did in the previous months. So make sure you fill this out as you go along, and your coordinators will ask you if you've been filling it out when they meet with you for your monthly call. So this log has you record if you've got, if you've harvested fruits or vegetables from your garden, to go ahead and put that in here. It's really simple. You just write down the date that you harvested something, what you harvested, and what you used it for, maybe tastings, maybe snacks, that kind of thing. And of course, Alina has said this many times, like the purpose of the garden is not to have like a fully functional farm. No, it's getting your kids excited and interesting in the food growing process, learning more about how food is produced. And if you don't necessarily get, pounds and pounds of tomatoes, that's totally okay. So if you don't fill out this log because you didn't grow anything that was harvestable, that's totally fine. But if you did, please put it in here. For nutrition education, I'm not going to cover this too much except to point out that a copy of the CACFP nutrition education form is in here. We've talked about this already, and you guys probably already have a copy of it, but make sure that the copy you're using has New Mexico grown listed over here on the right. We've also got farm to preschool in here. If you don't have the right form, you won't be able to track what your New Mexico grown nutrition education was. Okay, so make sure you've got a copy of this. I know this is a lot that I'm throwing at you all.
Can I interject real quick?
Rita,
Cori?
please go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. We're kind of moving through this quickly, but I just want to bring your attention back to, if you're growing a garden and you're harvesting produce, which I really hope you do. It's very rewarding and fun for kids to be able to grow things, watch them grow, and then pick and eat the produce, that you can use the produce from your garden to do the nutrition education activity. And that would be a New Mexico grown product, because it would be grown in the garden at your center. So I just want to make sure that I'm including that, and that, Corey, you're probably going to talk about this later, but to say you can start small. You start at where your capacity is. So if you don't have room to put an in-ground garden or a raised bed garden, there are lots of other options. And the one-pagers we have for each strategy talk a little bit about the different options for gardening and provide other online resources that you can look at.
Thanks, Rita. That's great. Those are always good thoughts. I'm going to pause here for a second because I know that was already a lot. Does anybody have any thoughts, any questions, kind of reflecting on what Rita said or what we've talked about so far? All right, feel free to put things in the chat. That's totally okay. We'll have a breakout session here in a little bit, so hold on just a little bit longer. We talked about the nutrition education form. Okay, so in the family and community engagement section, we've also got a log for your, family and community engagement efforts. So if you are sending home, local produce that you purchased with the grant money and maybe some recipes or activities, please report that in this log with the date, the type of engagement, the number of families that you reached. And if you'd like to record any notes, feel free to do that. That's optional. That could also look like if you have maybe like a garden planting day and you invite family and community members to your center, you can put that here. I know that sometimes y'all bring in parents and community members as volunteers. I don't know how that looks with COVID right now, But if you do that, please don't put that here exactly. I've got another log that's specifically for volunteers, so you can have your volunteers come in. If they're working specifically on farm to preschool activities, you can have them sign in with the date, their name, and what they're helping with. Right, so these logs aren't particularly hard to fill out. You just have to make sure that you fill them out and remember that piece. Okay, so that's all there is with the action planner. And I want us to kind of start this process. You guys will be filling this out. We're going to give you about a month, a little over a month to fill this out, and you'll have your coordinators to help you. But to really kind of get started on it, to kind of jumpstart you all, we're going to fill out basically the first 2 pages. And we're going to answer these first 2 questions. So I'm going to switch back over to our slides here. There we go. Okay, so these 2 questions that are up on the screen are questions that I pulled straight from page 1 and page 2 of the action planner. One question is about which of the strategies are higher priority for you, which ones speak to you the most, and then thinking about who you need on your farm to preschool team. So we're going to break out into a really quick breakout session. It's going to be about 7 minutes long. And there's going to be 3 groups. Okay, Rita is going to lead group 1. And if you are in Farmington or Rama, please join group 1. Gabriel is going to be leading group 2. If you're in Dexter or Clovis, please select group 2. And Alberto is going to be leading group 3. If you're Deming or Sunland Park, please join group 3. Okay, so up on the screen, you guys should have something that popped up and said breakout rooms. Go ahead and select the room that's posted on the screen for you. And I'll pop those questions into the chat so that you guys can go ahead and get started. All right, so go ahead, jump into that room. Patience, you're already in room 1. Awesome. Rita's already gone in there. Thanks, everybody.
It's actually at the bottom, Corey, where you can see the breakout rooms.
Oh, great. Okay, thanks, Alberto.
If it's giving you any trouble, you can let me know what room you want to go to and I can move you also. So we'll just let it see if you can get in, and if not, I'll move.
And I'm working on getting those questions in the chat. There we go. Victoria, good question. Let's see, Victoria. Maybe you can join room 3 along with Raymond Navajo and
Are they room 1 or room 3? They're room 1. Sorry.
Victoria?
Rayma and Rita. Rita with Rayma.
Oh,
and
yes.
Farmington,
You're
maybe?
right. Yep, Victoria, go to room 1.
Room 1, okay.
2.
I'll move you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
Here.
And then Trisha, what room is Trisha? Trisha is with Deming, so group 3. Oh, you got everybody.
James, are you still here? You're still here. Is that room?
So we don't have Sakura's Head Start here today. Maybe they can join room 2 since it's kind of low on people.
Hi, James. All right.
Thank you, Lena.
Sure. It always takes people a minute to like move around, even when we try. So I'm starting our little timer. I'll boot them out in 6 minutes.
That's perfect. Okay. Yeah, feel free to join one of the rooms. I guess I'll pop in one too.
Okay, see you in a minute.
Okay, bye.
Oh, and I don't know if the recording won't cover the rooms, I don't think, Corey, just so you know. So whatever's happening in there, it's just going to stick on this main screen. So I think it's fine that we both leave, and when we come back, it should still be.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That sounds good. We'll do a little bit of report back, so we'll hear.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks.
Mitchell? And because he messaged me, we worked together at the church at one point, and we have the San Juan College Harvest Food Hub,
and they're in the middle of getting a new director, but Bonnie Hopkins through NMSU and our girl there, Jacqueline, we can actually get you set up at the food hub because they cover everything. They do all the purchase orders. Every farm that goes through them is, we have our own food safety program that was approved by the state, and they actually teach it. So that would be a best bet. You can also just go through smaller farmers as well, but most of our farmers here in San Juan County are going through the food hub right now. And we also work with Chili Yazzie. So if we want to get some great traditional foods in, he also goes through the food hub. So there's a bunch of options, and we can set up a meeting with everyone, food hub, Bonnie, and everyone, and get started on that.
Thank you for saying that, Patience. That's do you have any questions, Kim? I mean, Barbara, about that? Because
No, Kim had just told me now. I put you on mute because she was talking to me. We actually did go through the food hub before COVID.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yay. So
Tina,
you're already set up.
Yes, we should be.
Okay, perfect. And I know, so Erin left, but she's contracted for like 10 hours a week. And so she still is contactable. And Bonnie and Jacqueline, Bonnie's still my main contact for everything, but Jacqueline is working. She's kind of interim right now. So any questions you have, you can email me or just email Jacqueline directly. And of course, Bonnie, who knows everything.
And I just want to underscore the food hub angle because they actually assume the food safety liability. So part of our procurement efforts here is to make sure you're going through an approved supplier. And there's a list of approved suppliers in the state. There's maybe 60 or so. We're hoping to see that grow. It's open right now for new people to apply. But the food hubs assume the liability for any producers they work with too. So in your neck of the woods, that's San Juan Food Hub. Raymond Navajo, probably our best bet is going to be to connect y'all with New Mexico Harvest. They've been helping to service the senior center in Rama, and they can help to source from all around the state, including some tribal producers from the I-25 corridor. And then we can work together to figure out if there's producers in your area that are interested in looking at that program and how to get involved so that they could be approved suppliers too. But right now, you do have a food hub that is servicing your community and can do that one-stop activity with y'all, and that's New Mexico Harvest.
Yeah. Sounds good. I think I know that New Mexico Harvest, we work with them through the Natural Resource Program. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so we can talk about that a little more. Sorry, I just totally interrupted, but it's really important that we do work with the approved supplier program. And so part of our work with you guys will be having you source from there. And then again, to grow that program. We know not all our farmers and communities are represented there. So that's some of the support we can provide too.
So Barbara and Cynthia and Priscilla, do you have any questions or concerns about local procurement or accessing local food? Because Barbara, I know that was a concern for you in the past that may have been addressed. So I just want to make sure that as you get started with local procurement, that you have what you need and you have access to the kinds of foods you want to buy to feed the kids. Yes, okay, good. And then, so for Cynthia and Priscilla, what are, you talked about local procurement too, but what is the first strategy that speaks most to you of the 4 farm to preschool activities? So local procurement, gardening, nutrition education, and family engagement. Which one are you excited about getting started with first?
I would probably say the family engagement. We are already doing the nutrition education, and then we do have some of that preschool wellness. So I'm thinking family engagement, and then move on to the edible garden, and then the New Mexico grown food and snacks or meals.
Okay, then. So do you have ideas for how you want to get families engaged based on what you've seen so far from our workbook, or or other ideas?
I haven't finished reading through the whole workbook yet, but right top of my head, I would be like doing parent meetings, start introducing what farm to preschool is, be able to get some volunteers to see what kind of ideas they'd have.
Great.
It's just like getting the word out.
Okay. Well, if there's anything that we can do to help you get that word out, Priscilla, you know, we're happy to work with you, happy to help you plan. We're going to have seasonal toolkits that have, you know, the centers are going to be able to buy produce to put in those toolkits and include recipes and other activities to engage children in and families in learning. So we're going to have to break. We're going to be closing out our breakout rooms here in a few minutes, but we're here to help if you need help. And for you, Barbara, patience will be someone that you work with. And obviously you guys are both in San Juan County, you know, kind of the momentum with the local foods, local places grant and all the work that around the food system. So in terms of gardening and getting gardening off the ground, that'll be great. And if I could just ask everybody to take pictures, share testimonials, seeing a plate of food that has some NM grown food on it, sharing menu ideas, sharing recipes, because that helps all of us across the state. You know, and again, patience and you, Barbara, can be together on plan.
Sorry, guys, that's so harsh. It just like cuts you off.
Went really fast.
Right, we felt like we were just getting started.
We always gotta, yeah, remember we need more time for these, you know, but it's really good. I'm glad we got to have a little bit of a conversation. I popped into a couple rooms while we were in the breakout sessions. And thanks to all of you who were able to share a little bit about your centers. We're running out of time, but I'd love to hear from one of the preschools, one of the centers, maybe what their priority, like top priority is for the strategies, gardens, nutrition, education, family engagement, all that, and why they're excited about it. Is anybody willing to volunteer?
Don't be shy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pick somebody if we don't have a volunteer. Please go ahead.
Okay, so my main goal is to start working with the New Mexico grown foods. I know we've tried in the past and it's kind of been a little bit of a hindrance, a hit and miss. So we were working with a few local just on our own in smaller things, but I'm really excited to get into the food hub here in Farmington and really getting so that we can get more fresh fruits and vegetables. It's funny because Kim was talking with Ryan, our cook, and he said, well, the prices, because a lot of our stuff is just coming through Cisco, and he said a lot of the fresh fruits and vegetables, the prices are just extreme, or they're out. And he said, I really could wish I could find a local farmer. And she said, well, you tell me any farmer that can do it through the winter and we'll be good. She said, it's coming up. So he kind of started laughing. So we're all excited and really ready to dig our heels in. And you know, it's nice because we're on the food program through the licensing anyway for the center. And so to bring those two together, we realized, yes, it might be a bit more expensive, but we haven't minded that in the past. To me, it's more important to buy local from the people that give us their business to begin with. So
that's such a good connection point and such a good, that's like a quote right there for keeping, you know, buying, you know, local and serving local too. It's like serving local kids and and buying local produce. So I feel like that's really great. Thank you for diving right in and being interested in doing it, Barbara. It's exciting. And remember, just collect your receipts and your invoices and that kind of thing, because there's money in the budget for buying local, and that's part of what the pilot program is. So very good to hear.
Yeah, Rita, I like that. I think we're gonna have to like steal that quote from the Zoom recording later on.
Right. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, let me finish off just showing you guys a couple more tools in the Farm to Preschool workbook. Again, thank you so much for engaging in that breakout session. And Barbara, thank you so much for sharing out. Let's see here. I know we're running out of time, so I won't go too. I'll try not to go too fast, but I'll try not to go too slow. So one really important thing, especially now that you guys have money to spend, is the shopping list. And if you go into general info, that first tab in your physical binder, we've got something here called the Farm to Preschool shopping list. And when you guys hear shopping list, I don't want you to think like, oh, I can only buy stuff on this list. No. You guys, you know your center's the best. You know what kind of materials you will need for your garden, for your nutrition education. But if you need ideas, this is a place to start. Because our team sat down and we thought, okay, like what are all the possible things, or really kind of the things that you really need to have a garden up and running at a preschool. So we've got items, cost, and then a link to an example. We highly recommend that y'all purchase from your local businesses, not from Amazon, but if you want to get an idea of what, that trial might look like, there's a picture there. We've got a tab here for nutrition education too. So this can be a really useful resource. Another set of resources that I want to show you all is in the resources section. Well organized to put resources in the resource section. But so we have a folder here for each one of our core strategies. And let's say you're really new to gardens. I know down in Sunland Park, Bumblebee said they're really excited about doing gardens, and especially edible gardens. And so let's say you want to know, like, okay, how do I really get started? In each one of these folders, the very first page is a short front and back document that our team put together. That's just a really brief introduction on how to get started with gardening in a preschool in New Mexico. So it's really centered and tailored to our communities. So here are just some examples of things that you could be doing with your gardens. So each one of the core strategies has a one-pager. So please take a look at those when you all have time. And let's just wrap this up. Yeah, we've got about 2 minutes left. So let's talk about kind of reporting, because that's what we've been grappling with this whole training. That action planner is going to be due on Friday, May 6th. It's listed here with that gold star. So that gives you guys, over a month to be working on the action planner. There are reporting logs inside the action planner. You guys need to have those filled out and sent to us in October. But of course, go through and fill them out as you're going along, as you're harvesting things, or as you're doing family engagement activities. And please, you can upload those to Google Drive, or you can email them to me, and always reach out to your coordinators if you have any questions about the action planner. I'm going to skip down to where it says invoices and receipts. As a reminder, you need to be sending those throughout the grant period. The last day to submit invoices and receipts for reimbursement is going to be Monday, October 17th. And you can send those to Pam and me. That would be great. Your nutrition education form for CACFP, just keep on doing what you're doing. I know that you all now, keep those in your office, keep those records for yourself. And then when ECECD does kind of like an audit or a check, they will go through those records. So keep on doing that. And then at the end of this grant period over in October, we'll ask you guys to send us the ones for Farm to Preschool. And then lastly, photos and testimonials are so important. Your HKHC or HKHP coordinator is going to be asking you for those every month. And you can upload those to Google Drive. You can email or text them to your coordinator. One thing to note is that if you guys don't have a photo release form for your kiddos, please let us know. We can send you our photo release form, and we'll finish up that process with your coordinators. Okay. Whew. All right. That is the end. We've got lots of people that you can contact for support. We've got the coordinators listed up on the screen, starting with Alberto, going down to patients. You can also reach out to the core team from the Department of Health or ECECD. We'll send out these slides so you guys have all these phone numbers and emails. But now we've got, just barely, a little bit over, but if you guys have any questions, feel free to stay on. It's always lovely to see you all, hear from you all. Yeah, so does anybody have any questions at this time?
I do. Okay, so I'm not sure if this was said before. How much money is available?
Good question. Good
I'm
question.
get straight to the point here.
There's a total, the total for our pilot sites is $9,000. There's $2,000 allocated for local procurement, and we can send this budget out, so you don't have to write everything down. There's a little bit more for the gardening, because some places don't have any equipment or boards or soil or anything to get started with gardens. So we've allocated more funding for that. There's funding for the kitchen equipment. So if you had to buy like a blender or a kitchen cart or things to do more nutrition education or process more fresh produce, we have that list, and that if you wanted to buy something that was really expensive, you need to make sure that you're checking with Pam and my team, me and our team. And then there's funding because we'd like all of you to attend the New Mexico Grown Coalition meetings to help inform what your experience is with farm to preschool, like gardens or local procurement, because in that way we can hopefully apply for more funding, to use the funding we have better. So we've allocated a little bit of like incentive money so you or one of your team members can join those coalition meetings. So there's a little bit in the budget for that as well, to pay someone to do it. So it's a substantial amount of funding, and that's why it comes with the strings of reporting and stuff like that. And we'll send everybody just a budget breakdown. But for local procurement, we worked with Pam and ECCD to just kind of look at the annual expenditures for food, and wanted to make sure that money wasn't a barrier to buy local. So good, thanks. That was a good question. Yeah.
I just want to add one thing to that, Rita, which is because of efforts, this legislative session with NM Grown, we're anticipating some funding to come for preschool. Stay tuned for details on that. But we encourage you to start spending your grant money on local procurement as quickly as you can, because we're about to be in season. And this is the time between now, certainly in October. And so spend freely, reach out to us with questions, but just know that, that's, that might be another resource coming your way as well.
So one more question. And I know I had chatted, put in a message to patients and she had responded, but this is really exciting. And so how, is there anything that you guys have done as far as thinking of maybe doing a press release, doing interviews with like the paper? That's what I reached out to her. And I know San Juan County Partnership has somebody, and she said she could help me. I told her, let's work together and get this out there. I think it's great. And I think the more we put it out there on our Facebook pages and everything, then that's just going to get our legislators to see we're actually doing something with it.
Great idea, Barbara, and that is on our radar. We have a communications consultant who will do a statewide press release and then can share that out, and then that can be shared on Facebook and you know, that could just be shared out, because you're right, it is big news, and it's been big news for a while, but now that the funding is available, people can start spending it. We're heading into the growing season and the, you know, local produce availability season. It's really a chance to both highlight your centers and Head Start programs and showing what kids are eating, and also highlight our farmers. Anything else, anyone? Okay, so thank you for attending. Thank you for your time. We'll send out the recording. We'll send out the slides. When the press release is available, we'll make sure that that is available to you as well. And we look forward to, we're now ready to jump, so go for it.
Thank you everyone for attending. Lovely to see you. Have a great day, and we'll see you on our next training.
Take care,
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everyone for helping. We'll see you later.
Sorry, I noted, I didn't like take verbatim notes today, but I put down the action items, the questions, and I attempted to capture that quote. You're going to want to check it. It's the best that I could do, but you're going to want to check the recording for that. Let me stop.